Shalom. According to specific patterns found in Scripture, the return of the Israelites is a physical and spiritual event defined by supernatural intervention. The second Exodus is expected to be so miraculous that it will cause the original deliverance from Egypt to fade from the national memory. Scripture records that Yahuwah will set his hand a second time to recover the remnant of his people from the four corners of the earth. This can be found in Isaiah 11:11, where it reads, "And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea." So while the other 10 tribes are often seen as having migrated into and through the continent of Africa, such as Limba, Zimbabwe, or the Beta Israel in Ethiopia, Judah is scattered and viewed as a global phenomenon. So in this context, the four corners or the islands of the sea represent the extremities of the world reached during the transatlantic slave trade. North and South America, the extremities of the Western Hemisphere. The Caribbean islands, often identified as the literal islands of the sea where Yehudah was scattered. Also Europe and distant coastlands, including British Isles, England, Scotland, Ireland, and other distant western coastlands as part of the global dispersion. The other 10 tribes stayed primarily within the landmasses of Africa and the Middle East, but Yehudah was taken to the farthest reaches of the globe to fulfill the prophecy of being scattered to every corner. So when the Most High gets ready to gather all the tribes, he'll have to gather Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11:12 says, "And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and he shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth." It says, "And gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth." So this prophecy is telling us that this is going to be a dual restoration. The Most High is going to bring the 10 tribes of Israel from their specific locations and gather Judah from the four corners of the earth, where we were sold to our captives. So the Great Awakening is the spiritual realization of this identity occurring simultaneously across all the geographic regions before the physical return. This return will be global, unlike the Exodus from one nation in Egypt. This return is from every nation, including the land of the north and the islands of the sea. Yahuwah will perform specific miracles to clear the path, such as utterly destroying the tongue of the Egyptian sea and splitting the Euphrates into 7 streams so that the Israelites can cross dry land. This can be found in Isaiah 11:15, where it says, "And Yahuwah shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod." The Most High will provide a supernatural highway through the wilderness, explicitly compared to the path made during the original Exodus. Yahusha, the Hebrew name meaning Yahuwah is salvation, is identified as the one who leads the final movement. Isaiah 11:1 reads, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots." This messianic prophecy foretells a leader, the branch, arising from the lineage of Jesse, the father of King David, bringing hope and righteousness. So Scripture describes Yahusha as the root of Jesse, as a banner or ensign to the nations, signaling the time for the scattered of Yehudah to gather. Yahusha stated in the Besorah, in which is the Gospels, that he would send his angels with a great trumpet to gather together his elect from the four winds. Just as in the first Exodus, Yahusha will lead the people into the wilderness of the peoples to enter into judgment face to face purging the rebels before they enter into the land. Scripture emphasizes that the physical return is accompanied by a supernatural internal change performed by Yahuwah. Yahuwah promises to take away the heart of stone and give a heart of flesh, putting his spirit, the Ruach, within his people to cause them to walk in his statutes. The valley of dry bones in Ezekiel 37 serves as a supernatural visual of this return, bones coming together and receiving breath to stand up as a vast army. The Most High will sprinkle clean water upon the people to cleanse them from idols and filthiness, restoring the covenant triangle of Yahuwah, the people, and the land. Ezekiel 20:33-38 reads, "As I live, said Yahuwah Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you, and I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said Yahuwah Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah." Instead of being taken directly into the land of Israel, everyone is brought into a transitional space called the wilderness of the peoples. In the wilderness, Yahuwah makes the entire group pass under the rod. This is a shepherd's technique where every single sheep is inspected individually as it enters the fold. Yahuwah pleads with the people face to face, presenting his case and requiring a decision of the heart. So the separation itself happens after we've been brought out of the places of exile, but before we step foot into the promised land. The scripture is explicit. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. The rebels are removed or purged in the wilderness, while the refined remnant is brought into the bond of the covenant and finally allowed to enter the land to serve Yahuwah on his holy mountain. When Yahuwah says, I will make you pass under the rod, this is the imagery of a shepherd counting and inspecting each sheep to ensure they are healthy and belong to the flock. Through this inspection, Yahuwah identifies the rebels and those who transgress. This is the most critical part of this prophecy. Yahuwah states, I will bring them out of the country where they dwell, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. Let's take a look at Ezekiel 20:38 again. It reads, And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. The rebels are those who willfully revolt against the authority of Yahuwah, those who continue to pass over or violate the Torah and the commands of Yahusha, even after being miraculously delivered from the nations. Then there's the idolaters, those who still have the heart of stone and refuse to let go of their gods and philosophies of the countries where they sojourned. If you ask me, this is the most startling part of the prophecy, since even the rebels experienced the supernatural power of being pulled out of the modern nations. They saw the miracles, they experienced the mighty hand of Yahuwah, but despite being part of the march, they are physically or supernaturally stopped at the border of the land. They are cut off from the assembly of Israel at the very doorstep of the promise. The reason for the cut is to prevent the land of Israel from being defiled again. Yahusha taught that the kingdom is for those who do the will of his Father. By purging the rebels in this wilderness of the peoples, Yahuwah ensures that the remnant finally steps onto the holy mountain where there will be no more idolatry, no more rebellion, and no more heart of stone. The scriptural blueprint for the final return is a supernatural masterstroke of both mercy and judgment. Yahuwah will not merely invite his people back, he will uproot the entire scattered house of Israel from the nations with a mighty hand, bringing both the righteous and the unrighteous into the wilderness of peoples. In this prophetic vision, the ultimate cut takes place. Under the authority of Yahusha, every soul must pass under the rod for an individual inspection of the heart, while the rebels are miraculously brought out of the places of exile. They are supernaturally barred from crossing the threshold into the land. The result is a purified, refined remnant, a people who have traded their heart of stone for a heart of flesh. This second Exodus concludes with a nation that finally matches the holiness of the land, as Yahuwah and Yahusha establishes a kingdom where rebellion is purged and the covenant is eternally restored. Thank you all for listening. May the Most High Baruch all deserving. Thank you for joining me here on Patreon. There is so much more to come. Remember Matthew 24:13. He that endures unto the end shall be saved. And until my next video, Shalom.